All right, we are live. Woo!
Hey.
Happy Saturday, ladies. Happy Saturday. We are here with Brittany Evans from Bar Brittany. Brittany, can you say hi to the ladies?
Hi, ladies. Happy National Tequila Day, actually. Yay.
It is National Tequila Day,
Yes, it
Brittany.
is. It is. I actually just posted a quick little recipe online. So if you want a quick, easy tequila drink that's yummy, go look at Bar Brittany.
I
Yes.
did not know that. So we're gonna share what we're gonna do after this live. We're gonna share that in the group so the
Okay.
ladies will have that since it's National Tequila Day. Ladies, I didn't know it was National Tequila Day.
Mhm. It
Hey,
is.
all right, so we have Brittany Evans here from Bar Brittany. She's a mother of two. She works in corporate America. She has multiple streams of income coming in, and we're going to be talking about that today and why that is important to you to be adding multiple streams of income. And so we're so grateful that Brittany is going to be telling us how we can do that, okay? Because we need every bag, ladies. We need every bag.
All of
Every
all of
bag. So, Brittany, can you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Brittany Evans. I was actually born and raised in Sacramento, but I moved to Bloomington, Illinois when I was like 9, 10 years old. So I had been back in Bloomington all the way up until 2 years ago when I moved back to Sacramento. So I moved back to Sacramento in 2019. But even when I was in Bloomington, I always spent summers here and Christmas breaks and stuff because my dad was still here. So I would spend all my breaks here in California with my dad, but I would be in Illinois during the school years and all that kind of stuff. So I graduated high school out there in Illinois. I graduated and got a good job at ISU when I was like 17. And I worked there and ended up buying my house when I was 19 out there. And I still own my house now. So that's one of the incomes we'll get to later. But I bought my house at 19. And I was out there all this time until I came back home to California. So I graduated from Illinois State University with a bachelor's in sociology. I do have my associates too. I guess I don't talk about that enough, but I do have an associate's in early childhood from Heartland Community as well. So I've always kind of owned some of my own businesses. I owned an in-home daycare at one point. I owned a travel pedicure business out there in Bloomington. And now I own Bar Brittany. So yeah, it's always great. It's great
Wow,
to
I
have your
love
own.
it. I love it. And so Brittany and I, we grew up in the same area in Bloomington, Illinois, and I am so proud of you. I am
Thank
so proud of you. And
you.
now Brittany is in Sacramento. So
Mhm.
what made you decide that you wanted to change your entire life and move? And how did that environment shift change your life? Because we know one of the keys to success is shifting and changing your environment.
I think that's the key right there. Just you said,
Mm.
knowing when it's time to shift, I guess is a good way to put that. Knowing when you're at a standstill wherever you're at. And I feel like it's very important to always self-improve, whether you're building on your house or you're building on your business or you're gardening in your garden, whatever it is, whatever goals you have, it's always important to keep going. Like once you're reaching them, setting another one. And it doesn't mean that you're never happy, that you're always continuing to go, but we all change. Hopefully we're never in the same spot 5 years from now. I know I'm not in the same spot now that I was 5 years ago. Definitely not 10 years ago. And if you ever feel yourself at a standstill, then it's time to do something different. You need to always be working on you and be happy with what you're doing, whether it's in business or in extracurricular activities and fun. But it's important to be happy where you are, even if it's just living somewhere else. So if you're getting to that point where you're not necessarily happy where you're at, it's time to switch it up.
Yes, and that's what I love about Brittany. Every week or every 2 weeks, I see Brittany at Lake Tahoe. Brittany is everywhere. She in somebody else's country. Brittany said when she changed her life, she was changing her life. And I love that about you
Yes.
because you live a very balanced life. You work very hard, but
Thank
you also
you.
love to have a good time.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it's all about, working hard so that you can play hard, right? And also finding the balance between the two. I play hard, but a lot of things that I go to, like last night we went to reggae in the park. It was free. You know what I'm saying? We didn't pay nothing for that. We just go out, have a good time, enjoy the vibes and the atmosphere. I go to Lake Tahoe a lot, but that's only an hour and 40 minutes away from where we live now, so it's not too far to go places like that, but it's very important. That's part of self-care. That's part of just taking time out again for yourself and the things that you like. And too often times as women, we associate that with being selfish or being wrong. You got kids, you got to take care of them first, or you got, husband, you have to take care of them first, or whatever it is. You always have to take care of yourself first, just like the oxygen mask on an airplane. If you're not okay, you can't make sure anybody else is okay. So it's very important that you are okay first all the time.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Brittany, let's get down to business. Can you let us know what made you start Bar Brittany? And it is so successful, and you started your business during the middle of a pandemic.
I did. So again, I had my son straight out of high school. I had my son, I graduated high school and got pregnant literally 3 months later. So I took a little longer path. I'm not going to say harder or rougher, just longer path into my career and into college and stuff like that. So I always went to school. I just went part-time. So I was taking maybe 3 hours at a time, and working 40 hours a week and trying to finish. And it took me 8 years to finish my 4-year degree, but it got done, it got done. And, Bar Brittany started because I've always had a side gig. So when I was in college, I also had a job. And when I was out of college, I also had 2 jobs. I went straight into a career. And then anytime I needed money, I picked up an additional job because I had a mortgage. I bought my house when I was 19. So I had a son. I had to make sure that all of that stuff was always taken care of. So I took up bartending in 2006. I was still in college and I was working part-time and going to school part-time, but I needed something additional that was outside of my school schedule. So I started bartending at the Elks Club in Bloomington Normal. If you're over 30, you're usually familiar with what that is. But I started at the Elks when I was 21. I had 0 bartending experience, but the men that were there thought I was cute and wanted me to work there. So I started working there. I did work in food service before, so I was familiar with high-paced work environments. So I ended up actually being pretty good at bartending. And I started on just a Wednesday night, which was ladies' night, and I used to make maybe $50 a night, bartending. And at the time, my boyfriend started coming in all the time with his friends, and my friends were coming in to see me. And then it just got busier and busier and busier. And then all of a sudden, I was making $300 on a Wednesday night, versus the $50. And they found out, oh, this girl's good. And this girl's valuable. She's bringing in business, So then they started scheduling me on the weekends. I started working Fridays, Saturdays, doing the back bar instead of the main bar. And I started having more customers come to my bar than the main bar, just because they're like, no, I want her to make my drink, So bartending just became a hustle. It was a side hustle. I did it until I graduated college. Once I graduated college in 2010, I stopped bartending for a while. I had a pretty good job working for PCCEO out of Peoria. But eventually, when money started getting tight again, I took up bartending again. So anytime I needed money, I kind of bartended. So when we moved to California, the first place I ever actually worked bartending full time was at Fixin's, which is a Black-owned restaurant. It's owned by Kevin Johnson in Oak Park here in Sacramento. And it was the first time I ever worked full time. And it was a whole different kind of crowd because he's a former mayor. He was a former NBA star. So there was current NBA stars in there and coaches and football players and retired NFL players and politicians, in addition to the regular, everyday people that come in there. So it opened up a whole nother networking opportunity to me that I never even really knew existed, honestly, especially being in Bloomington Normal. Like, no offense, but we weren't meeting, NBA coaches and politicians at any restaurant or bar in Illinois. So, well, Bloomington, at least. So doing that, I just started meeting people, networking with people. I got my job at the state. The whole reason I moved to Illinois was because I had moved to California from Illinois is because I had like 7 interviews for the state. And I'm like, okay, you know what?
Oh.
I'm going to get one of these jobs. So let me just pack up and go. And I'm going to go ahead and walk out on faith. And I did, and it worked. So I ended up working for the state in February 2019. I got my job with Water Resources. And in March 2019, we went on COVID. So now, by the grace of God, I got the job with the state first, and then the restaurant closed down 3 weeks later.
Wow.
So after the restaurant closed, they started giving out those small business loans and those kind of things. So they actually opened back up and provided opportunities for us to still work, but we weren't making the $1,000 a week that I was making before in tips. You know what I'm saying? It was very, very much smaller than what we were making previously, but it was nice that we still. Sorry, my dog's squeaking.
It's okay, girl.
Point down. So basically we weren't making as much money as we were. And I was still blessed enough to have an additional job for the state. So when I started working for the state, there's some people that was their only income. You know, they needed that money more than I did. So I kind of took a step back, let those people who needed the hours get the hours. Once they were in the place, like, no, Brittany, we need you. I went ahead and started back. So when I started back doing it, we still weren't making as much money, but people were always asking me, hey, what do you put in this? Hey, what do you put in that? How do you make this drink? Oh, I love this drink that you make. What do you put in it? So I started kind of telling people, well, I make it with it. Well, I can show you is what it turned into. Well, let me show you. Let me show you what I put in this. So I actually started going to people's houses, and they were having small gatherings with 5 people or so, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. I was less than 10 because it was COVID. And I was showing people how to make drinks themselves. So it started as just kind of, a side thing. They gave me money to go and show people how to do drinks. And then it turned into a whole business. So I ended up not working at Fixin's anymore and just doing Bar Brittany. Aside from showing people how to make drinks at their house, I would also bartend events. I sell bar supplies like shaker sets and stuff like that. And I do Zoom meetings. So I show you how to make a drink online, not just in person, which was COVID friendly. And a lot of people liked that. So it ended up being a lot more successful than I imagined. It literally was kind of turning out to be a for fun thing originally. And now it's like, I don't have to work every Friday, Saturday, Sunday anymore. Now I just work a couple times a month, and it's equivalent to the income I was making working every single weekend, being committed to this scheduled time, and it's on my time.
Yes, I love that. And I loved how you took a skill set that you learned working in the bar, like a corporate job, and turned it into your passion on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that. And one of the other things that Brittany is doing is she's very involved in the community and in philanthropy. So can you tell us about some of the things that you're volunteering for?
Sure. Okay, so one of the things I volunteer for is I am with the racial equity group at the water board. So I do get paid for being a water board employee, but I get to devote a percentage of my time to doing racial equity work there at the water boards. It has been a very rough road, I'm not going to lie. People aren't prepared for these changes that are coming and taking place, but other people of color, we're not prepared to keep sitting still anymore. So we're moving forward, and y'all are moving with us or get out of the way. So so I have been very active in the racial equity group with the water boards. We've been in the paper actually several times this year. We started an employee support lunch since everybody is working from home and it's virtual and we don't have that face-to-face interaction. I was a part of a group that started a virtual support lunch where we gather the 4th Thursday of every month to kind of talk about how we're feeling as people of color and what's going on in the community and how it makes you feel in the workplace and how it makes you feel in your community, and it's just a place to kind of vent in so many words without getting in trouble and it being an okay place to do that at in the workplace. And it's making the talk of race be more comfortable in the workplace. So, one of the things I said, I just presented at a public board in a public board meeting a couple weeks ago. And there were some things that people were like, well, don't bring this up or don't do this. And I had to say to them, we wake up Black every day. We don't have the choice whether we want to be Black today and whether we want to deal with it today. It must be nice that you guys have the choice as to whether or not you're ready to deal with this as an organization. Wow. And that really hit home for a lot of people. So ever since then, it's been great. I've been in the newspaper and I'm getting quoted now. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? And it's awesome, but it's been hard work. It's very emotionally draining, but it's also rewarding to see that things are actually changing, to see what's coming out of it. So that's one of the things.
Well, we appreciate your advocacy. And can you also talk about the pregnant women in jail?
Yeah, absolutely. So another organization I volunteer with is called Sisters Mentally Mobilized. It is a cohort of the California Black Women's Health Project. So I took a 10-week course to make me mental health certified. We get a certification and all that kind of stuff. So again, that's another self-help thing. Like, people think, nails and all that kind of stuff. Even if it's just taking a couple hours out of a week to get a certification in something or, just to better yourself and help better others in the end, that's a self-help thing too. So I took a 10-week online course with the women and Sisters Mentally Mobilized, and I am now certified in California. And my program idea, we presented a presentation about what we would like to do in the community. And my idea was to work with pregnant women and single mothers in jail, because over the past few years, there's been a lot of women delivering babies in jail without any help. There's not too many, I don't want to say at all, but very, very few programs for pregnant women. Like there's no different treatment for pregnant women than there is for a regular woman in jail. And should a pregnant woman have special treatment because they're in jail? Yeah, they're still pregnant. There's WIC and stuff in place outside of jail. So why aren't those kind of things in place for women in jail? So the program was approved, and we actually are going to start doing an actual program in the jails here, starting in Sacramento, but hopefully expanding through California, helping pregnant women and single mothers in jail.
Yes, that is so awesome. I just love that. I love everything that Brittany stands for, right? I just love it about multiple streams of income, serving and helping others, balancing your life and taking care of you, And I feel like that's how you live a more fulfilled, purpose-filled life, right?
You definitely do. Definitely. It's all about learning from your experiences, right? Like life is not all peaches and rainbows all the time. It's just not. But the important thing is, what are you learning from those situations? What are you doing differently going forward to change some of these things that you don't like? What are you turning this hardship into? Are you just going to sit here and wallow and be sad about it? Or are you going to do something about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Ada said, awesome. Thank you for your service and your advocacy. Andrea say exactly. Ada say know when to shift your life. Hello, Ada.
It's very important. That comes with maturity too. Somebody told me today that really registered. They're like, when you're holding on to something of your past, you're holding on to the old you. So are you still that person 5 years from now? I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that. But it was true, like if we're not letting some of these things go, are we prospering? Are we moving forward? Are we doing more than we were 5 years ago or 2 years ago, or, whatever it is? All you can do in life is learn from your mistakes and try not to make the same mistake twice.
And move forward. Now, let's get back to this conversation about income, right? And and the benefits of having multiple streams of income. One of the things that I've noticed, and I was talking to Brittany yesterday, is how gas is going up. Housing prices are going up. Groceries are going up. Clothing is going up. Food is going up. Everything in our economy, flights are going up. Everything in our economy is going up. And we have to pay attention, and we have to start tapping into earning multiple streams of income. So we're going to be left behind. Salaries are staying the same, right? But everything else is going up. And we are not just going to survive this thing, we're going to strive through this thing, right? Yeah. And so can you tell us about a few ways that you generate multiple streams of income?
Sure, no problem. So again, I work for the state, and I own Bar Brittany on the side. So I do that a couple times a month, sometimes every weekend. It depends on what's going on. But I also DoorDash and I also Instacart. So those are things, especially working for the state, when we only get paid once a month, that don't always cut it. Like I call that my bills check, and then I have my Instacart and my DoorDash is my spending check. You know, that's what I use to go out drinking with my friends or go on my vacations or go out to dinner or whatever it is. You got to have multiple incomes, you know, and some people like me, I'm a single mom, you know, sadly, our society is not meant for single income people. You are supposed to have a partner, or you're supposed to have something that makes your income higher, right? But when you're by yourself and you're not married and you don't have a partner that's giving those, then what do? You suffer, you live in housing, you're on food stamps, like what do you do? So you have to make that dual income for yourself. Sadly, I have to make enough for two people by myself to make sure that my kids are okay and that my bills are paid, you know. And one thing I really like about DoorDash and Instacart is that it's always on my own time. So I'm not on a set schedule. I don't have to go in from this time to this time. Whenever I have the time, if I'm not busy, if I'm ready, I'm like, oh, okay, sign into the app on my phone and start dashing. Sign into the app on my phone and start shopping. And you end whenever you're ready to end. So it's not committing you to an everyday thing, to certain times a day. You can choose when and where you do that. So I really like that about that. Another thing I really like about Instacart and DoorDash is they allow you instant transfers. And what that means is whatever money you make, you get to transfer it to your account immediately if you want to. So by that, if I'm really broke this week and I'm not trying to tap into my savings, then I'm going to transfer this little $40 I made today and I'm going to use that for gas, or I'm going to use that to go out to eat. And then that way I'm not touching my bills account, and I'm not tapping into my savings account, and I'm using the spending money. And another thing somebody told me today, which is so smart, and I might start doing myself, he DoorDashes himself. And he was telling me that he actually goes out and buys Visa cards for certain things. So he said he'll set a goal and be like, okay, I'm going to DoorDash today for the electric bill. And he'll go dashing and make the amount of the electric bill. Or he'll say, I'm going to go DoorDashing today for gas money. And he'll make $300 and go get a Visa gift card with gas money on it. So then that way he doesn't have to tap into this account or that account. Or if he's broke and doesn't really have the money another time, he already has this gas card on hand. He has a shopping card. This is my clothes card, a Visa. He said he spends $5 on the Visa at Walmart, and whatever he puts on there for that, when that is gone, and that's it. You spent your shopping money for this month. You spent your eating money for this month, or whatever it may be, and it kind of keeps you in control. And I thought that was really interesting. I don't do that myself, but I just wanted to share that information because I'm like, okay. So, having the multiple incomes is so important just to make sure you're okay. And savings. Like I try my best to put $50 to $100 every week out of my DoorDash or Instacart money into a savings account. So then that way we're saving and not using a savings account as a second checking, which I know a lot of us do. I still do it sometimes, but I've gotten much better at it than I used to be. But it's important. You have to have income coming in to a savings account in order to keep it building, you know, and if you don't have that extra income coming in, or you only have enough to pay your bills, then how are you saving?
Yeah. And excuse me, it was an article I read that most Americans don't have more than $400 in their savings account. $400 in their savings account.
You know, second checking.
It's like a checking, right? We just swipe it. And one of the things that I love about you, Brittany, is that you also have residual income coming in from real estate. So
Yeah.
you have your DoorDash and your Instacart, and then you have your residuals coming in from real estate, and then you have your online business where you host events, and you're in person with your bar Brittany and your work. And
Yes. Yes, yeah. I own my house, and I know I mentioned it earlier. I should have mentioned it again, but yes, I own my house in Illinois, and so I rent that out every month too. And I, it pays my mortgage, and I get a little extra, and that's something that I can hopefully hold on to for my kids one day. I bought it when I was 19, so it'll be paid off here pretty soon, actually. And that's something else that we can have to pass down, hopefully, to our kids. If not income, sell it and buy a house in California. They're $500,000 out here, so.
hello, happening to that California market.
You need a pretty good down payment out here. So that may be my house one day, but I do like still having it and getting that extra money each month, even though it's not a lot, but it's a little bit, it adds to your income, and it counts. You could build it up and again, take $50 out of that and put it to the side. I can't stress saving enough, just trying to take what you can out of what you can and put it to the side. Like, we tell our kids that, but we really need to engrave that into your kids. Like, that's something I've been doing with my kids over the past few years when they get birthday money and stuff. Okay, you can have this much, but let's put this much into your savings account, and then they still get to spend. But then now my son just turned 18 recently, so he has a little bit in his savings account when he goes off to college, and that's for him, not for anything else.
Absolutely. And then the word spend has the word end in it, right? So spend has the word end.
It does. Keep spinning. I mean, no, you can't take it with you when you're gone, you can't take it with you gone, but you can leave some stuff behind when you're gone. So, keep that in mind. I think as parents, all we want to do is make things easier on our kids than we had it ourselves. So take those steps to do that. The things that you didn't have or wish you had, or maybe your parents didn't know, or, those are the things that you need to do and instill on your children so that they know, so that if you know better, you do better, and if we couldn't do better, at least our kids can.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brittany, can you tell us about any of your future ambitions and ways that we can get in contact with you? I know in the future, in September, we're going to be hosting an event together online, the Bar Brittany event, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to reveal everything, but just know it's going to be a lot of fun in the house party app, okay? But can you let us know about any of your future ambitions that you have going on?
Right now, currently, I am in a competition to be the nation's best Black bartender. I actually just won the Bay Area's best Black bartender about 3 weeks ago. So I'm excited about that. First prize for that is $5,000, and runner-up is $2,500. So either way, I'm trying to get some money. We going for $5,000, but so that's a short-term one. I'm trying to win that now, but it has just provided an amazing networking opportunity already. I've only done 2 rounds of it, and the next round gets to get voted on by the audience. So I'll post some stuff when it comes in, ladies, so you guys can vote for my drink. But that's something that I'm doing currently, and I'm hoping that brings other opportunities, available to me. I'm working with a gentleman that was on Top Chef, and he owns a restaurant and stuff out here. So me and him have collaborated.
I'm sorry, what was that, Top Chef?
Chef Nelson, and he was on Top Chef. And he actually collaborated with me because in one of the events we have to pair with a chef, and he collaborated with me so that we can pair and make a drink and meal together. So look out for that soon. It's Chef Nelson. He was on Top Chef. And, networking opportunities are real, y'all. They are real, so real. So definitely take advantage of those. I've also collaborated with Salt and Fire, which is a catering business out of the Bay Area, and they have me traveling with them as a private bartender for their private dining events. So instead of like big bartending events or where it's like, a whole party and stuff like that, they're smaller dining events, and they provide a 6-course meal for you, photography, hookah, and a personal bartender. So that's one thing that we're doing currently. It's kind of cool, a little upscale and real nice when you get grown and you ain't trying to hit the club no more. So we're doing that. And then, yeah, I still hope to eventually expand into Vegas. I go into Vegas here and there. Like I was just there recently, and sell some drinks and stuff while I'm out in the area and things like that. But I'm hoping to just expand. What has been wonderful is I actually have people that work for me now for Bar Brittany. And it's not like a 9 to 5 every day. It's just kind of when we have events, but to be able to hire other people to work for you and pay them a good amount. Like my bartenders are like, hey, it's like such a blessing. It's such a blessing that I've been blessed enough where I can bless others and help them with their additional incomes. And it's people that, have bartended with me in the past or I met through networking that are now helping me at events and I bring them to events to bartend themselves and earn their own money. So it's been a great opportunity. So I hope to keep growing. One day I would like to do a mobile bartending business, like actual like food truck type of thing, but I'm still looking into all the logistics because, when it comes to liquor, there's a lot of stipulations. So that is hopefully a goal once I can figure it out, because I saw a margarita truck down in New Orleans, so I know it can be possible somewhere. Right. Just not sure where yet. So for now, we're just still doing Bar Brittany parties, either online, virtually, or in person. I'm still bartending events, selling bar supplies. So if you're interested in starting your own kind of side mobile bartending business, I have everything that you need in order to get that started. And yeah, I've done a little bit of drink consulting too. So I would like to keep doing that with agencies, new restaurants that are opening up bars and stuff. I've talked with them and helped make some cocktails to be their signature drinks, and kind of help steer them in the direction that they need to go with the bar as far as ordering and the type of audience that they're trying to attract and those kind of things. So I'm hoping to keep networking and keep growing and being able to do more for others in our community. And I am hoping that our program to help women and pregnant women, it's called Maternally Yours, so look out for it, will hopefully blow up and be more than just a local thing, hopefully to be a state or national thing. So yeah.
Yes, that is so awesome. And while you were talking, one thing came to my mind, right? Because you are so phenomenal, you're so amazing, like you have a lot going on. What was one of the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome in business, and how do you silence the noise in your head? How do you silence the voices, the negativity? Like, what is it that you do to overcome obstacles and fears? Because you're fearless.
That's been a strength of my mom's been saying that my whole life. She said, girl, you ain't scared of nothing. You want it, you go for it. And I'm like, yeah. So I still do that a lot. If I want it, I go for it. But that's what I'm going to say is you're always your biggest obstacle, right? Whether to start now, waiting for everything to line up, waiting for everything to be right before you start it. So one thing I had to learn is if you're waiting for everything to be right, it ain't ever going to be right. You literally have to just step out on faith sometimes. And when you step out on faith, God blesses you. He really does, because you're putting that faith in him that, okay, I don't know if this is going to work, God, but I'm going to go ahead and try it. And you know what? That comes back tenfold. I have never had an opportunity where I stepped out on faith that didn't come out in my favor.
Yes, I love that. So just believing and having faith and going after it, right? Just going after your goals, and just being relentless with it, right?
Yeah. And if you want it, go get it. Nobody else is going to do it but you. Nobody else will do for you but you, So you got to do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Brittany. It was such an honor and a pleasure to have you here on the show. I'm going to post all of her information in the group and on my page right after this. So if you guys want to have her host you an online event, if you're looking to start a bartending business, she has the tools for that. I mean, whatever you need, she got it.
Okay. And actually, I'm already working with one woman out of Women's with Ambition, which is Ada Rose. She sent me some wine, and I'm going to be posting a drink tutorial soon on how to make a sangria with her One Hope wine. So, the networking, we just want to thank you, Kiara, for always providing the opportunity for us to support each other and network through each other. I have on Felicia's earrings right now, Robin Love, I'm sorry. And, just allowing us the opportunity that we may not have had otherwise to work with one another and support one another. So thank you for providing these spaces for us. It's really been an amazing opportunity and such a blessing, I think, for us all. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And I got on toy jewelry. I just wanted to shout her out too. Yes, and that is what this women empowerment movement is all about. Thank you, Ada, so much for all your participation in this live. Thank you, sis, so much for your participation in this live. Make sure you post about the wine. Make sure you post about that in the group too, what you and Ada are collaborating on.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, I told her I'm going to make her video for her by this week. I just got to get somebody to record me. That's the problem. So my daughter's gone. She's normally my engineer. My 9-year-old engineers my videos, and she's with her dad. So
yes, and you know, I know how it is. So bye, guys. Have a happy Saturday.
bye.